Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning for all of us. To the Honorable Dr. Justinus Satrio, representing Villanova University, and all the invited plenary speakers, Insinyur Ardi Lukman, Chairperson, the Indonesian Food and Beverage Association, Sugianto Tandio, MSc, Co-founder and Chairman, PT Harapan Interaksi Swadaya Greenhope, Dr. Honoris Causa, Hurhayati Subakat, CEO PT Paragon Technology and Innovation, and Professor Dr. Insinyur Iwan Khaswar Syamsu, MSc, Head of Halal Science Center of IPB University. Good morning, and please allow us on behalf of the committee to welcome all of you to the opening ceremony of the International Conference on Innovation and Technology and Management for Sustainable Agroindustry, or ITaMSA 2021. This conference is organized by Department of Agroindustrial Technology, IPB University, with Indonesian Association of Agroindustry, or AGRIN, in a collaboration with Villanova University, USA, and the University of Tokyo, Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, our agenda for the second day of ITaMSA 2021 will be as followed. The first one, we will have a plenary session, then followed by photo session, and then a closing ceremony from Dr. Justinus Satrio, representing Villanova University. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we have to move to the first session of the conference, which is the plenary session. We have 4 invited speakers, and the moderator for this session is Professor Dr. Insinyur Titi Candra Sunarti, MSI. Professor Titi Candra Sunarti is a professor in Department of Agroindustrial Technology, Faculty of Agricultural Technology, IPB University. May we take a look at Professor Titi's CV? All right, so Professor Titi is a full professor in bioindustry at Department of Agroindustrial Technology, IPB University, and also Vice of Dean for Resources and Collaboration, Graduate School of IPB University. Professor Titi research interests is on carbohydrates and bioprocess technology. She has completed her bachelor's and master's degree program in agroindustrial technology, IPB University, and also has completed her doctoral degree in applied bioscience and biotechnology, Mie University, Japan. Okay, Professor Titi has a lot of research, and one of them is process design for encapsulation of eucalyptus oil and citronella oil in chitosan nanoparticles as antimicrobials in non-alcoholic mouthwash. And Professor Titi has some experience of community services. One of them is a resource person of starch technology and its application in industry. And also Professor Titi has a lot of international journal publication. One of them is release property of red ginger essential oil in silica nanocellulose composite-based sachet. Okay, now we would like to invite the moderator of today's session, Professor Dr. Insinyur Titi Candra Sunarti, MSI. Time is yours.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Today is a very nice day in BOGOR. Sunshine in the morning with a little cloudy, and hope this will cheer us up and make a good and beautiful day enjoying this conference. First of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the committee for giving me a chance to lead this very important session. Before we start, I would like to welcome you again to the second International Conference on Innovation in Technology and Management for Sustainable Agroindustry 2021. In this plenary session, we will have an opportunity to understand more about the agroindustry, from the food industry, packaging industry, cosmetic industry, and also halal supply chains of the agro-industrial complex. We are thankful that we have 4 honorable plenary speakers in this session. We will proudly present you. The first one is Mr. Insinyur Adhi Lukman. He is the chairperson of the Indonesian Food and Beverage Association. And now we would like to see his curriculum vitae. Mr. Adhi Lukman was born in 1961 and graduated from the IPB University, Faculty of Agriculture, Engineering and Technology, especially in the Department of the Food Technology and Human Nutrition in 1984. With his experience in the various seminar and training, and also becomes the head of the chairman of the Indonesian Food Beverage Association. Unfortunately, this morning, Mr. Adhi Lukman cannot attend directly, but we have the video from his presentation. Now we will see the experience and also his responsibility as the chairman from the Indonesian Food and Beverage Association to the development of the food industry in Indonesia. Would you like to present the video of the Mr. Adhi Lukman presentation?
Thank you for inviting me in the second International Conference on Innovation, Technology and Management for Sustainable Agro Industries. I would like to share about the Indonesian Food and Beverage Association roles facing SDGs goals.
Before talking about the role of our associations facing SDGs goals, I would like to share about the F&B industry's performance and profiles as a background. Indonesia is one of the big countries in the world, with the 4th largest populations in the world. More than 270 million population is in Indonesia. And this is an opportunity for food and beverage industry. Since we see the data, food expenditure per capita is quite significant high. For food expenditures, almost 50%, and processed foods contribute around 1/3. So, based on this data, we see that the potential and opportunity for food and beverage to provide food product for Indonesian populations.
Indonesia has a planning for 100 years old Indonesia in 2045, which is a golden Indonesia. Our GDP per capita predicted become more than $23,000 US, where currently our GDP per capita is around 12,000. With the high GDP, of course, consumers need more processed food with more variety, more added value, better quality, and also more functional. Fortunately, our F&B industry still positive growth during the pandemic COVID-19. Last year, our industry grew 1.58%, and second quarter 2021, our growth is around 2.95%. And the important thing is the contribution to the GDP non-oil industry increasing from time to time. In 2017, our contribute to GDP non-oil industry is around 34%. And in the second quarter 2021, our contributions become 38.42%. So this is showing that food industry plays an important role in food availability and contributes to the economy.
If we see the data investment realization in food industry in Indonesia, we are optimistic because investors see the prospect for food industry in Indonesia. Foreign direct investment growth last year 25.41%, and until first semester 2021 this year, growth 87.14%. Even unfortunately, domestic direct investment last year's contraction minus growth 23.77%. But this year is better because the contraction only minus 18.72%. In total, investment in food industry growing compared last year.
Export of food industry products also show the good performance. Last year, our growth around 14%, and in the second quarter 2021, our export growth is around 42% and contribute to all total export of processing industry is around 24%. This is the conditions of export, performance of export of food and beverage product. Now we are talking about our roles, our association roles in facing SDGs goals. This is our national target to build an ecosystem for agro and food industry to be more resilient, more affordable, and competitive for global value chains. So we would like to build an ecosystem from end to end, from upstream to downstream. Especially for food and beverage industry, we need to build the raw material sustainable. Even some of our raw material coming from imports. And also government provide conducive and regulations and policies with a consistent synchron upstream to downstream and collaborative. And of course supported by innovation and technology, where government also support with some incentive through the super tax deductions for innovations in Indonesia. And of course supported by human capital with competent, skilled and reliable, and governments prepare and provide infrastructure and logistic system with more efficient and effective. So this ecosystem is supported by our new law. We call it the Omnibus Law number 11/2020, and also Ministry of Industry also release and launching Making Indonesia 4.0, where we implement Industry 4.0 for food and beverage industries. So this ecosystem hopefully can build agro and food industry more resilient, affordable, and competitive for global value chain. Food industry plays an important role in the value chains to ensure food safety along the food supply chain. We would like to provide availability for food products, affordable and also safe for consumptions, and of course nutritious and healthy and tasty to meet the demand. Our industry also involved in food system, especially food and nutrition security. From end to end, along the food supply chains, including we involved in policy aspect and also food safety aspect. And this is the role of our industry associations to achieve SDGs goals. If we see the global goals for sustainable development, from 17 goals, at least we can contribute and play a role in goals number 1, number 2, number 3, number 6, number 9, number 12, number 13. We can involve directly to have a success for SDGs for 2030. To achieve SDGs goals, we see that our index is lower than other countries in the ASEAN countries. Indonesia become number 6, ranked number 6 among the ASEAN member states. So this is our challenging, and we have to improve our SDGs index, collaborative, all stakeholders. The challenging is and hunger and malnutrition, and ultimate goal, achieving food and nutrition security through sustainable agriculture, through food system, reducing food loss and food waste, post-harvest technology and food industry, of course, plays a big role. And of course, we need to support the environment, especially to combat the plastic waste and other waste in Indonesia. We also can contribute and play a role in Healthy Indonesia program. Under the Healthy Indonesia programs, there are some promotive preventive programs. This is, of course, involve food and beverage industry. The role of safety and healthy food consumption, the role of community and food industry in providing healthy food to eliminate the unwanted ingredients, to reduce the content of sugar, natrium, and fat, and also to enhance and all fortification some ingredients to support Healthy Indonesia programs through food and beverage products. This is one of our efforts to support achievement of SDGs goals in health and nutrition aspect. GAPPMI also involved in several public-private partnerships. For example, we also involved in BIS Agro, Indonesian Sustainable Agriculture, with 3 main programs, which is increasing agriculture productivity 20%, reducing greenhouse emissions by 20%, and also reducing poverty by 20% in 2020. And also, we also involved in the Scaling Up Nutrition Movement Business Network, which is a collaboration between the government and business in improving the nutritional status and public health under the United Nations program. And we collaborate with several associations in food and nutrition. We call it the MPGKI, Indonesian Food, Nutrition and Health Partners, with Pergizi Pangan Indonesia, Persaki, PATPI, and IAKMI, and also Director General of Public Health, Ministry of Health, Republic Indonesia, focus on the concern of stakeholders for nutrition and public health. This is our involvement in PPP. The Scaling Up Nutrition Business Network is coordinated by government agency, which is Bappenas in Indonesia. And this is showing that our associations and private sector contribute in this program. In the nutrition and health aspect, our association also contribute through the Scaling Up Nutrition Business Network. The Scaling Up Business Network is a global network including SMEs, and in Indonesia, more than 30 companies and also associations involved in these programs. What is our contribution to nutrition? The 5 big program is agriculture and nutrition, The second is large-scale food fortifications. The third is specially formulated foods for targeted groups. The fourth program is workplace, a better workplace and nutrition for workers, and also supporting nutrition-sensitive interventions. This is our role and our contributions in combating nutrition problem in Indonesia and also health problem in Indonesia, malnutrition, deficiency, and others problems, including stunting.
This is our food industry contribution for SDGs goal. Under good manufacturing practices and also responsible productions, we contribute also for responsible production and consumptions to reduce food loss and food waste, and also contribute in food and nutrition securities of the nations. Food Industry Asia did a survey in the Southeast Asian countries and report that Southeast Asian product reformulation priorities shift to increasing fiber, reducing salt and sugars. Reported that industry also focused on fortifying products with vitamins, minerals to help address the shortfall in consumers' diets. And also, reformulations include the reduction of sugars, adding fiber, vitamins, minerals to some product categories like cereals, dairy products, pasta, breads, among others. Also ready-to-eat meals are also coming under reformulation focus in Southeast Asia. Efforts are skewed towards sugar and salt reduction as well as increasing diet fiber. The report revealed that reformulation can directly support consumers' desire to adopt a balanced and healthy diet.
Next, I would like to show some action and sample of our industries and our associations to support governments in achieving SDGs goals through some programs like educations and also activity in the community, in the nutrition and health aspect, and also in the combating plastic waste to support SDGs goals. This is showing that our industries give an education to the community to have a healthy and balanced diet, sugar, salt, and fat reduction, metabolic disease prevention, malnutrition prevention, etc. Industries already done with reformulation, providing healthier choice as a choice for consumers to get more healthy or healthier diets for the consumers. Some companies has done with more detailed information to support the nutrition before consumers' consumptions. This is very important that we encourage consumers to understand what they are eating, what is the content, and also what is the nutrition status of the product. One of the important things to achieve the SDGs goals is combating waste, especially plastic waste. And GAPPMI already collaborate with several associations and also with governments and community to make some programs and guidance to the members. We do the 4R programs: reduce, reuse, recycle, and return to earth. And this is a holistic circular economy that we propose to combat the plastic waste in the community. The government regulations We support governments to achieve the target waste reduction 30% in 2029, manage waste in 2025 by 70%, and also make a roadmap for waste management accordance to government regulations and realization of quality public health and environment. Association and business operators support the realizations of waste management for the achievement of these goals in the environmental sectors and sustainable business. And we encourage all stakeholders involved. So we propose extended stakeholder responsibility to improve their habits to combat waste, especially plastic waste, and become a clean cultures in the community. So showing some actions, our association participate in the Waste Awareness Day, and also members involved in the planting 1,000 mangroves in Marunda to make a better environmental status. And this is also one example of our member to build a circular economy, collaborate with community until the recycle industries, including involve the scavengers and collectors and also the community to combat the plastic waste to achieve SDGs goals. And also, this is one example of the action of the members to make plastic waste into creative products. Collaborate with the housewife surrounding the factory and create jobs for the housewives to make added value product from plastic waste. Some housewives making gallons, covers, wallet, bags, tissues container, etc. This is also another actions from members to support water access, clean water access, sanitation, hygiene, and program One Circular Planet. This is also another sample of our member action in combating plastic waste with the recyclability programs. We use recyclability, lightweighting, packaging, and other programs, and making alternative materials to make better packaging and also to reduce waste, especially plastic waste. So this is showing through the bank sampah or waste bank to combat plastic waste in the community. The end for to manage waste management and also to combat plastic waste in the community and to achieve SDGs goal, we need collaborations, not enough only extended producer responsibility, but we need more bigger program with extended stakeholder responsibility. Collaboration between among governments, business, academic, and society is needed to well manage integrated solutions to make a sustainable mindset and also environmental friendly. And the ultimate goals is habits, better habits in the community and peoples, and also to make waste-free cultures in the community. Many individual companies has carries out waste reduction movement, but a national movement is needed to have a bigger impact. So as to achieve the target of creating a waste-free culture in society. As conclusion, In the midst of COVID-19 pandemic, the food industry continues to grow positively, although not as big as normal conditions. Contribution to GDP continues to increase from year to year. Likewise, investment and export continues to grow positively. Food industry plays an important role in food security, including quantitative, qualitative nutrition, and also contribute in economic development. The F&B Association encourages its members to comply with existing regulations. This is very important as our responsibility, as well as produce quality, value-added products and contribute to handling of nutrition and environmental problems. Together with the governments, conduct educations to industry and the community in tackling problems and to achieve the SDGs goals. Also making real efforts in overcoming obstacles in achieving the SDGs goals. National movement is needed to have a big impact in achieving SDGs goals. This is need a collaboration all stakeholders, including governments, business, academic, and community society. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your kind attentions, and we do hope that my sharing is valuable for our discussions. Thank you. Stay safe and healthy.
And now I would like to give you some point from this presentation. Mr. Adhi Lukman, as head of the Indonesian Food Beverage Industry Association, has some strategy facing the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and there are some points that we are concerned about the Sustainable Development Goals, especially because the share of the food expenditure in the community is almost half of their income. But the processed food may be less than the fresh food, only 60%. So it's become a very big problem for us to provide the food and also the qualified food. The food industry during the pandemic, maybe there's a small decreasing, but the export from the food industry still increase, and we have some good point that the Sustainable Development Goals, especially for the nutrition and health, from the zero hunger, and then a good health and well-being, provide food safety, and then to the economic growth or no poverty, also the environmental sectors. This is especially for the responsible consumption and the production. For this environmental section, maybe we will hear to the next speaker with very expert in the packaging industry. Now we will continue to the second speakers, Mr. Sugianto Tandio, Master of Science. He's the co-founder and the chairman from the PT Harapan Interaksi Swadaya Greenhope. Before we start the next session, I would like to remind us that each speaker has 20 minutes for the presentation, and we will entertain you with the 30 minutes of the discussion after all the presentation from the 4 speakers. And all the audience, you can request to write your question or comment in the chat room. And for the asynchronous speakers from the Mr. Adhi Lukman, so we will directly send your question to him, and it will be answered the question, and we will upload in the conference website. So if we have enough time, you can also give the question directly by raise hand in your screen. But after all the presenter give the presentation. Now we are going to the second presenter. Mr. Sugianto Tandio will present about the sustainable product innovation in plastic and packaging. And now we would like to see the curriculum vitae. Would you like to present? Curriculum vitae first. Would you like? Mr. Sugianto Tandio is a very famous, especially in the plastic industry, as a co-founder and also president of the commissioner. Now he is the president director of the ITaMSA. This is the enterprise which produces the flexible plastic manufacturing company, which serving plastic packaging need for the domestic and multinational consumers since 1994. Together with his partner, he formed the Greenhope. This is the PT Harapan Interaksi Swadaya, a green plastic technology business, as a co-founder and the president of the commissioner. And now I would like to inform you that Mr. Sugianto Tandio has graduated from the Master of Science from the Process Engineering program at the University of the North Dakota, USA in 1988. We have known well Mr. Sugianto with the best performance, a lot of the awards, and also this is, I think this is, you can read by yourself. A lot of the awards has given since 2011 until 2018. And also some news and also media has also featuring him as a entrepreneur and also as innovator, especially in the packaging industry. Now we have synchronously Mr. Sugianto Tandio with us, so we will hear about his experience. He's willing to matching the industry, especially in the packaging industry. Please, Mr. Sugianto, you have a lot of time to give us some lightning information, and the time and also the screen is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Titi. Good to see you again.
Yes.
And thank you for the invitation. Let me share my screen here. Can you hear me and can you see the screen correctly?
Yes. Yes.
Clearly.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you again for the invitation, Dr. Titi. Today with GoPro, yeah, with tourists, this is actually in Bali. So we cannot escape, yeah, suddenly a 3-minute video. This is a very important mantra point. It's a famous diving site in Bali. You see all the plastic floating around, yeah. So plastic is a big, big problem. Not just underwater, but in the sky. This is a island in the Pacific, and hardly any people living there. And Dr. Jennifer went there. There's a bird migration, and we noticed that there's many birds just fall from the sky. And we collect many of the birds, and it turned out that their stomach is full of plastic. Okay, so it's not just in the ocean. It's not just in the sky, but in land. So it's basically affecting every life. Yeah. And COVID-19 actually increased uncertain plastic consumption. You know, with before the movement into reusable, but during the COVID, because afraid of transmitting the disease, so it's go back to the single use. Yeah, and realize it or not, World Economic Forum published the research that we actually already eating 1 credit card worth of plastic a week in the form of microplastic. Another research showing that all the mineral water, the bottled mineral water that we consume around the world contain microplastic. Okay, and so it's pretty bad. Yeah. So the question is, how many credit size of microplastic do we consume before it becoming a health issue? So this is really, really damaging to the point where UN December 2017 declare war on plastic waste. Yeah, on the stress the war on the plastic waste. Why? Because today there's a extreme, people banning plastic, and people think that plastic is a problem, but actually our problem is a plastic waste, not the plastic itself. Because I don't think we can, we wake up in the morning, first thing we touch is plastic, right? Our toothbrush and our comb, glasses, look at this picture on the left. If without plastic, basically it's just left almost nothing. Yeah. So plastic is really in all segments of life. And over the last 50 years, the growth of plastic, okay, is actually tracking GDP, which means that in all industry, there's some form of plastic involved. Okay, that's just how much plastic are being consumed. So again, this is 2017 is a turning point. Yeah. So plastic since the 40s grow to the today is about 300 to 400 million ton a year usage, which means that 300 to 400 million ton of waste as well. Okay, and that's to put it in the container. That's about 30 to 40 maybe million container. Can you imagine? 30 million container a year of plastic being consumed, which means that that's also as much plastic waste being accumulated. So since the 2017, when UN declared war on plastic waste, this is the turning point. So in the future, we can predict that the regular plastic, the conventional plastic will go down, and a new kind of substitute, the green plastic, will go up. But not just the material though, it's very much have to be green mindset, lifestyle, and all that. Yeah. So as of any transition period, so this is a destructive period right now. And as of any transition, it's very painful. Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of misinformation, a lot of hoax. Yeah. So today is really a confusing time for plastic. Now this is global plastic demand by sector. And you can see in this chart, agriculture is about 3%. This is upstream in the agriculture. Today we, in the Agri-Industry Forum, yeah, so agriculture consume about 3% of total, the 300, 400 million ton of plastic. But the packaging is 40%, yeah. So if you can take these two, basically this is upstream usage of plastic, but most of the agriculture end up become food that need to be delivered to everybody at home, right? So packaging mostly are food packaging. Yeah, so you can say that combined is about 43% of total plastic has to do with food. Yeah, have to do with agri industry from upstream to downstream. Yeah, so this is a lot of plastic to be considered. Okay, this is 2012. There's a projection given to the usage of plastic, and it's pretty much on track. Yeah, today 2021 is about 300 to 400 million ton. So we are not getting any worse. Yeah, this is worse if we are following this trajectory, but we are not getting any better either. Yeah. So this is no good. Yeah, so I hope that in the future we can really reduce the plastic waste problem. Okay, this is another by McKinsey company. Where do plastic waste end up? Now, here are the conclusion here. This is globally, okay? So mostly 40% is to landfill, okay? And 25% is incinerator. 16% roughly is recycled. So can you imagine 40, 50 years of the 3R? 3R is reduce, reuse, recycle, and it's only 16% being recycled. And 19% is unmanaged or leak. Yeah, this is disaster actually. Okay, so basically around the world, the end of life for waste, all kind of waste, including plastic, is only these two places. Either you are landfill country or you are incinerator country. Okay, country that do not have much land, usually they have to have incinerator, like Singapore, Japan, and most of the European country. Okay, but majority of country in the world is still landfill, including US. US has such a vast land space, so they have like 3,000 landfill. Okay, so majority can say that plastic waste end up in the landfill. Now, whatever the solution for plastic or plastic waste, need to consider these four factors. Okay, one is the economy. Just now, Adhi Lukman mentioned about our per capita income. Indonesia is still very low. Yeah, we are about 3,000, between almost $4,000 per year. Yeah, versus Europe is above 40,000 above. Yeah, so economy is very different. Yeah, so what kind of new plastic that will not become burden to the society? Yeah, so economy is very important, affordability, and then second is the local context. Yeah, because we need to know that local culture, because lifestyle has to do with local culture. Yeah, and then available infrastructure as well. Geographical condition. Indonesia is very challenging condition because we have 17,000 islands. Yeah, can you imagine if you have to collect, yeah, for reusable or for recycle, how to collect it back from this 17,000 island is a logistic nightmare. Okay, so local context is very important. Yeah, and then environmental friendly. How do you define friendly to the environment? Yeah, if the end of life is incinerator, is very different than if the end of life of plastic is landfill. Okay, for example, so need to be considered as well. And then of course the functionality. Yeah, plastic over 40 years replacing many other material because it's light, it's strong, it has many barrier property, and it can protect food from moisture, from the air, from contamination. You know, so those are the functionality that cannot be compromised as well. Okay, so these two factors is super important to be considered as you finding the solution. Okay, there will be a very high barrier adoption for any solution if you don't consider properly all this, which is to say that all countries need to have a different solution, need to have a local solution because of this different context. So this is just to illustrate. I put here Netherlands to represent Europe. Basically, most of the European countries are by land space is smaller. Yeah, like Netherlands, 17 million people, 41,000 kilometers, 4 seasons. Okay, and the income is well above 45,000 in this case, and they are all incinerator. Okay, because there's not much land space. Now, US, big population, big land space, almost 10 million square kilometers, 4 seasons as well. The income is way above Europe, yeah, and they have 3,000 landfill. Yeah, so given economically, landfill is the cheapest to have the end of life. Yeah, they only have like less than 100 incinerator in the US for big city. Now, Indonesia, big population as well. We also have vast land space. Our income is very low. Yeah, 3,600 to 3,000. But Adhi Lukman just mentioned 3,900. Yeah, but still relatively small. Yeah, and we have more than 500 landfill. The government just come up with a law currently. We need to build 12 incinerator for 12 big cities. Yeah, but we are not there yet. So we are like the US. We are still landfill country. So with all these differences, yeah, the solution will be very different. Yeah, so it cannot be one solution fit all. Because we're dealing with not just the material, but the plastic waste. Yeah. So the end of life is very different. Now, so traditionally, we have been doing the 3R for the longest time. The order is very important. Yeah. So by all means, if we can reduce, let's reduce. Yeah. The order is very important. First of all, is reduce. And then we can reuse, by all means, please do it. But can we do reduce economically? Yeah. That's a challenge. Yeah. And then, of course, we can recycle. By all means, we need to recycle. Yeah. So the 3R has been implemented around the world for the last maybe 50 years. Yeah. But just now, McKinsey study show that we only successfully recycling 16% of all plastic. Yeah. Now, let's say that hypothetically speaking, we can do recycling over 90%, which is very difficult, maybe impossible. Yeah. Let's say we can do that. It still doesn't solve the problem because recycling you cannot recycle forever. Most of the recycling today is actually downcycle. Yeah. There's a lot of research right now how to do upcycling. Yeah. But still going to take time. Yeah. So therefore, we need the fourth, yeah, because the recycle, the 3R is good. Yeah, we need to improve the 3R philosophy, thinking. But then, if you can recycle 1 time, 2 time, 3 times, you need to throw away as waste. That lasted 100, 1,000 of years for plastic. Therefore, you need the return to a solution. And again, 40% of plastic waste is go to the landfill. And landfill law around the world stated that everything go to landfill has to be degraded. Now, plastic is not degraded. Yeah. So we need to have a return to earth, basically biodegradation solution at the end. Yeah. So after going through reduce, reuse, recycle, we need to have a end of life design. Yeah. This is to close the loop. So we call this a holistic circular economy. Okay. The 4R. Yeah. Pak Adhi Lukman mentioned this as well. Yes. Okay. Now, Greenhope is basically we are in this space. Yeah. We're making the plastic how to have a proper end of life. Now, because of that, yeah, today there's really no winners yet. Yeah. So the European country, they have their story with they want to increase the recycling because most of European country are incinerated country. So they want to improve when you burn everything at the end, biodegradable plastic is not that important. Yeah, so you want to do more recycling. If you have to use plastic, they choose to use bioplastic because Europe, technically, I mean, they don't have much oil, right? But they have a lot of corn. Yeah, Middle East, for example, Middle East don't have any corn or tapioca, you know. So they're mandated. There's a technology called oxo biodegradable because they have a lot of oil. Yeah, Middle East is the biggest producer of regular plastic. Yeah, so they try to make regular plastic how to be more environmental friendly, yeah, by the additive. And so on and so forth. So there's no winners yet at this moment. I can see that I think all countries need to have their own solution actually, yeah, separately. Yeah, so Greenhope, we R&D 10 years, yeah, patent process 7 years. So today we have 3 technology and Oxium EcoPlus already obtained US patent, Indonesia patent, as well as Singapore patent. And we export to about 10 countries, more than 10 countries. We have a lot of commercial application, yeah. And combined, our resource, we have more than 40 years of expertise in flexible packaging and many areas. Now this is one of the I'm really privileged to be accepted in this being awarded social entrepreneur because we are helping the tapioca farmers. Yeah, for every 200 ton of the green plastic we produce, we actually can employ about 2,000 farmers. Yeah. So this is the social entrepreneur award. So we are participating in the local and global forum many times. This is my partner Tommy, my co-founders. Yeah. Okay, now this is important. So basically, today the 300-400 million ton of plastic all is based on fossil fuel. Okay, and then this end is a bio-based plastic. Okay, now 99% of plastic today is still in this quadrant. Okay, it's based on fossil fuel and non-degradable. There's a ... meaning there's 1,000 different kind of regular plastic today, and 99% is still here. Okay, now we all know the name fossil, yeah, which means that plastic is from oil, fossil fuel, and fossil meaning that some point in time those can be dinosaurs or jungle who got buried millions of years, turn into oil, turn into fossil fuel. So the origin of plastic is organic actually. Okay, okay, in this space. Now, but ExxonMobil, you know, many other oil company around the world, it's very expensive to extract the oil. Nobody extract the oil to make plastic. Nobody. Okay, so 100% of oil extraction is to make energy, and then the residue the residue of the process, they use it to make plastic. Therefore, the feedstock to make regular plastic is almost zero. Okay. Now that's a very important point, yeah, because how can we do bioplastic cheaper than regular plastic? You know, unless there's a farmers that are willing to give to send their corn or their tapioca for free. It's impossible, right? Therefore, today any bioplastic is still more expensive. Okay, but there's a good news though, with the Paris Agreement and all that. Many countries around the world today already stated that they need, like Indonesia. Indonesia, I think 2030, 23%, if not mistaken, energy have to be coming from renewable energy. Okay, so I fully believe that in the future, the plastic will shift from fossil fuel to the bio-based for sure. Okay, in line with the energy policy. Okay, so when energy no longer produced from fossil fuel, then the feedstock will be reduced. And at that time, the bioplastic will be able to compete. Okay, so because of that, it's going to take some time. And we have the three technology. We have the oxo biodegradable. This is just to add on to all this regular plastic, and it can immediately turn the regular plastic from non-degradable to degradable at a very, very affordable price. Okay, we always see this as a stepping stone. Now we have other two technology based on cassava technology. Okay, but this is still more expensive. Okay, but not only more expensive, but any type of bioplastic is still only a few types. Okay, it's only a few hundred versus few thousand for regular plastic. Therefore, we still not enough bioplastic plastic with different property to protect the food. Okay, so therefore there's still some time yet to have this transition. Now, so here's the put it. So regular plastic, yeah, the source is no good because it's not renewable. It's based on fossil fuel, but the production cost is very, very low. Yeah, end of life is no good. Yeah, it takes 500 to 1,000 years to degrade. So regular plastic, yeah, but regular plastic for the last 50 years is the cheapest compared to paper, glass, aluminum. It's cheap because of this. The production cost is very, very low. Okay. Now, if we're talking about biodegradable plastic, there's generally in the world, there's three broad technology with different standard. Yeah, this is American standard 6400 is compostable plastic. It's a very high content of renewable resource as a source. Production cost is still very high. It can be composted, but the price is 200 to 500 times more expensive than regular plastic. Okay, and then the bio-based, the STN6S66, this is a hybrid active compounding between regular plastic and plant-based. Okay, so the source is still good. It's an element, high element of renewable. Cost of production is still expensive. It can be degraded or composted, and the price is about 50 to 100% more expensive. Yeah, this technology is like our biofuel. Yeah, since the 90s, if you go to palm diesel, solar fuel in the solar diesel in the pump station in Indonesia, you can see that it's biodiesel. Actually, the government, the Pertamina add on 2% ethanol from palm oil. Today, I think it's about 30%. Yeah, I think in the lab they already be able to do like up to 90%, but not yet. Yeah, not yet commercialized. Now these are the same idea, but today we can have up to like 60% renewable resource on the bio base. And the third one is the oxo biodegradable additive, is STM6954. Okay, now the source is there's no bio element, it's still full regular plastic. The cost of production is same as regular plastic, yeah, but it can be degraded between 1 to 5 years, and the price it can be compatible to regular plastic. Yeah, so these three technology. This is that's the three technology category. We happen to have all three of them. Yeah, so basically we can just customize a solution for any kind of plastic application. Now, these are the two plant-based plastic that we have. We are excited about this because it's actually it's not new. Yeah, since the 1941, Ford company already make a soybean car. Yeah, so but then with the cheap oil price, then at that time I think they killed the project using the steel instead because the gas is cheap at that time. Yeah, but plastic from plant is not new. Actually, it's not a new technology. Now with EcoPlus, we have done a life cycle analysis. Compared to regular plastic, our EcoPlus reduce 45% energy consumption, and then we can reduce 30% this carbon footprint. Okay. As far as SDG, this is all around. So we benefit the farmers. You know, SDG number 1 and 10, reduce poverty and inequality. And along process, we have industrial innovation and also economic growth. And then at the end, after consumption, we are SDG number 12, responsible consumption and production. Okay, so we have at least 5 SDG goals that we can achieve using our technology. Now these are because we're using tapioca, and tapioca, as we know, is a tropical crops. Yeah, a hot region in the equator. Now happen to be, if you look at the poor country, the poor income country are all around the tropical region. Yeah. So Greenhope, we really like to, we take excitement, yeah, in connecting. Yeah. Imagine that in the ASEAN region, we have a lot of tapioca, and then we can serve Australia, Japan market, you know, different countries. Yeah. So that Japan and Australia can also help farmers in the ASEAN region. And then Africa, for example, we can set up the factory there, we can help European, yeah, more different country to have the tapioca farmers in Africa. And then South America, the equator region there can have the US. Yeah. So those are the linkages that we try to do. This is our dream actually, how to help the eliminating the poverty. Okay. Now we have many awards. Yeah. And these are the industrial pioneer, and this yeah. And more important than the award and the patent is this eco-labeling. Yeah, eco-labeling is the one that because just like we are Muslim country, Indonesia, and most of the Muslim friend, yeah, there's no way they can tell the difference between halal food and non-halal. Yeah, they can only tell from the logo. Yeah, there's a halal logo. Yeah, I think there's a speaker later talking. Yeah, the halal logo. So plastic the same. Yeah, ordinary people will be hard to differentiate between green plastic and conventional plastic. Therefore, but the world is promoting the eco-labeling. Yeah, so we have eco-labeling Indonesia already for technology, Singapore eco-labeling, as well as Malaysia. Yeah, so these are very important. Yeah, so we also engage with many of the program in the world. These are all the brands that using our technology already. Domestic as well as overseas, and these are the application now, because we already get into like agro-industry, food packaging for vegetable, for potato, as well as we already get into biscuit packaging and many other packaging. Yeah, today with the multi-layers we're able to do that, and the sealing bag. Yeah, we also get it. Yeah, this is the carrier, the mailer bag. Packaging, yeah, this is a tissue from tapioca that we use. Doggy poo bag, yeah, we export to the US. This is for the hair coloring. This is for replace aluminum foil in the salon industry. And sealing bag, yeah, we can produce, customize the agriculture films and all that, including the landfill cover, the daily cover. Now during the pandemic, this is a high growth area, so we managed to produce a food container, but able to degrade in the landfill after becoming the waste. This one growing, the last 2 years growing really big, yeah, because of the pandemic. So our learning so far, plastic waste problem is a systemic problem, as I mentioned just now. Yeah, I mean, we can is a big problem. That's why UN has to declare war on plastic waste. Yeah. So no single entity can able to do it. It's a systemic issue. So require the 3P. Yeah. Private-public partnership among stakeholders to bring about sustainable change. And so we need to connect, we need to collaborate, yeah, less ego and more eco, yeah, combine forces, respect people from each country, we can exchange ideas, but we need to implement, consider the local context, yeah, that's very important. Copy and paste will not do it. Yeah, we may have a good intention, but we end up more damaging actually, because it's, the context is very different. And decide not to be status quo. Today, 99% of plastic uses 300 to 400 million tons is still regular plastic. Yeah. So you need to really break away from the status quo and yeah, see this as an opportunity instead of mere risk. Yeah, and we want to be on the right side of history anyway, right? It's the right thing to do to start with. Yeah, and so let's together start the journey. Thank you very much. Back to you, Dr. Titi.
Yeah, it's a very interesting presentation, and we have a lot of information, especially about the innovation and technology in packaging technology, and also how Mr. Tandio have a social activity, yeah, especially after awarding the Social Entrepreneur Awards, because his cooperation with the cassava farmers. Yeah, I think it's a very good point. Okay, now we have the third presenter. The third presenter will be delivered by Dr. Honoris Causa Hurhayati Subakat. She is the Chief Executive Officer from the PT Paragon Technology and Innovation, but unfortunately, she cannot attend synchronously, so we will see the summary of his curriculum vitae. Ibu Hurhayati Subakat graduate from the pharmacy from the ITB 1976 and now become the chairperson in, this is GAPPMI Pusat also in DKI, and becomes the most impactful women leaders in 19. Yeah, and then becomes the first lady who get the honoris causa PhD in Ganesha from the Institute Technology Bandung, and a lot of awards has been received by Ibu Hurhayati Subakat. Ibu Hurhayati Subakat start his enterprise from the small and now becomes a very big enterprise from the Paragon Technology and Innovation. Now we will see the video from Ibu Hurhayati Subakat. Please, everyone, the audience, if you have any question or comment, you can give the comment in the chat room. Would you like to present the video?
Good morning, everyone. Warm regards to you all, and then hope we are all in a safe environment. I'm Mario Cristiano, currently the Product Innovation Group Head of PT Paragon Technology and Innovation. First of all, I would like to say pretty much I apologize for not being able to attend the conference in real time. But hopefully within this 15 minutes of sharing, there are ideas, there are some inspirations that might be interesting that we could all learn from through this Paragon's journey. So without any further ado, let's jump in. So for those who don't know about Paragon, we work in the beauty industry. We are established in 1985 through our founder Bu Nur, and we are very proud to say we are a value-driven company here, meaning the value itself of the company, it has been there since the inception, and up until now, it's still there. It's very consistent, and in a nutshell, I think for every business, if you want to sustain, we really need to have a good foundation of the value, and this value, it has to be translated across everyone through all of the departments and through all of the people. I think that's the first and foremost thing if you want to sustain the business, because opportunities come and go. The market dynamics also change nowadays very much rapidly, but if we have the value intact in our organization, it will help us, to weather all of this market dynamics. And then what else? We have 6 brands currently, or maybe one of the biggest is Wardah. But the aim for us to have 6 brands is actually to cater different type of consumers, because in this nowadays era, consumers, they are getting more and more diverse, very segmented, and you cannot push one brand to solve every consumer's problem. That's the reason being we try to create 6 brands to cater different kinds of needs. And then this is the aim, is actually to sustain the business, because we never know, consumers one day they might go here and then they might go there, and then the brands, we have to have different brands to cater whenever the consumers are changing, we are there. So we are also proud to say we are local. Currently we have 12,000 employees all across Indonesia, and we believe it's also a greater sense because we are trying to provide jobs to the Indonesians. So that's the beauty of Paragon, and currently we are one of the biggest manufacturer of cosmetics in Indonesia. With that comes a very interesting part, because we are getting more and more innovative, in a sense we could create help to help to mold the market. So through the journey itself, Paragon is not directly coming to a brand developing company. At first we are actually a tool manufacturer supporting MLM, supporting other companies. And this is the beauty of the company, I guess. One of the reasons why we could sustain is actually to see there are opportunities, and we have the bravery to take the opportunity. And I think that what was done in 2009 when Wardah was being revamped, the image were changed to become more modern. So as you can see, after we try to establish Wardah, then comes along with other brands. So that's how Paragon's maneuver to really capture the market dynamics. So as you can see here, the 4 brands, they are very distinctive, they are very unique. So it has been a wonderful journey. I might say it's also interesting and challenging as well, to see Wardah grows from such a small brand to become a quite well-known brand. And then we were there in the global, being known as one of the fastest growing global brands, and we are also being studied in Harvard Business Review. We believe it's also proving to us that karya anak bangsa, Indonesian products could also compete in the global market. So again, I cannot really stress highly enough about the value of in Paragon, right? Because value, it really defines who you are, and as a business and as an organization, value, it needs to be translated to everyone, because whenever there are problems or anything, values will remain there. It will remain to help and solve. At least it will help give you some kind of path, framework, how to solve things, how to do your operation. So at the first of beginning, always try to define what is the value of your business, what do you want to try to strive for. And it's pretty much interesting, because most of the time people, they might forget if the business is growing quite good, but that's where you actually have to know what are our values. If the business are growing very fast, what are the values that we are offering, what defines us? That's very important. Second is about being agile. In Paragon, we are very much agile. There are some seniors, there are some newly hires coming, a lot of different backgrounds. We really trying to implement what we call the collective genius, meaning that everyone, if they are trying to contribute and adding more value, we are all equal. So in Paragon, we are trying to do that, and then we are trying to implement the agile. It's very challenging, but it's very interesting, because if we are trying to implement agile here, meaning if there are opportunities, we will try to capture the opportunity, but it also comes with the consequences. Workload is quite high, but that's where the value comes in. If the value is strong, everyone will have the same sense of purpose. These workload, that might be stressful every now and then, it seems a bit more bearable, and it will be very interesting, because the people who are working, they are feeling like, oh, it's part of my life. So it's very interesting to implement agile. As you can see here, it's very interesting, right? The transformation of Wardah since the beginning up until now. In here, I want to stress that the value remains the same since the beginning. We are trying to say halal is important and it can be part of your life, but how it communicates to the consumers might be different from time to time. As you can see from the Wadah now, halal is still there. But we are trying to be a bit more relevant to the condition now. For now, halal is actually your liberator. Halal actually could make you feel having more options. It could make you feel you are aligned with everything in your life. So it's the beauty of knowing your consumer is actually very important for us to sustain the business, as we are trying to do with Warda, maintaining the relevance and providing them the experience with the consumers. Also, we are seeing trying to utilize digital is going to be the next step, because digital actually help us to weather all of this condition through the pandemic era. I believe this digital, it's going to hack a lot of things in a good way. So always invest in digital platform. It will help you to accelerate the growth. But we have to be careful, because digital, everyone is going there. So we need to be very careful, very keen around which digital platform that we want to choose. How do we want to go through the digital is going to be very important, and that will need research and trials. Also, interesting part here is the beauty of it, I think, is about, we're always saying there is a pertolongan Allah coming into the marketing mix. For me personally, it's very engaging personally, because market dynamics, sometimes it can be very frustrating, it can be tense, but we know that there is pertolongan Allah that will help us to weather through all of these adversities, to know that in the end there are something good that we could pursue. And this can only be achieved if we are trying to help our surroundings, to give, as we can say, kebermanfaatan to the surroundings. I think that's what is most important. So here I want to stress a bit about the mission. The vision is also interesting, because I think the vision, we have to create betterness. It gives a continuous improvement every day, and it's part of our life, so it's very important. But in a mission, it's very interesting to see, because if we are trying to do good in all of the aspects of the business actually will also grow together with all of those. So for Paragon, we really emphasize on the people itself, the Paragonian, because the company will only grow as far as the Paragonian are growing. So coming from the Daniel H. Pink's principle is about their autonomy, mastery, and purpose. In Paragon, we always want every Paragonian to first, they feel like they are in control with their projects. It's very important, because it gives them the inner locus of control. It will help to give more proactive acts in the projects, which is important. And then second, it's about the mastery. We want every Paragonian to feel like they are good at something. It's very important, because it will give them their self-actualization. And the third is also the most important of everything. It's about the purpose, because the purpose here is like the lighthouse. It's like the compass for what we do here in Paragon. So whenever things got rough or we lose priorities, we need to have this strong sense of purpose, that we are all in this together, we are in the same direction. So it's a beauty if we could align the self-interest with the company's interest. If we could do that, it will be quite seamless, to do all of the everyday's work. So this is at core, we are trying to cater these three things, so every Paragonian could really help to grow the Paragon. So lastly, what is the secret recipe to grow for us is actually to give back, because as pertolongan Allah also, if we give back, to spread the goodness to everyone, spread that this business is actually not only about making profit, but actually to be a good company towards the environment, society. It will actually help the business to grow. So as these four pillars are, in pandemic, we really much focusing on the health, but I'm seeing it's a very focused effort from Paragon, to really push this health. But yeah, for us, CSR is not only about just CSR. We really took it very serious. we really want to give back through these 4 pillars, because at the end of the day, our company, we want to serve the Indonesian nation as well. So it's a very beautiful thing. So lastly, before I close the sharing, hopefully there are some ideas, some thoughts. So in summary, people is very important if we want to sustain the business. The people, for us, it's a Paragonian at core, is very important. We have to set the fundamentals through the value of the people. So the people, they will be strong, and then if they could be strong, they could also impact others within their departments, their partners, along whenever they are doing the working in day to day. And then if they are strong enough, then we could do this agile system of ways of working that we do. So with this settled in, we could really navigate throughout the market dynamics quite good. And in the end, if we could sustain the business, we could give a greater impact to the society, and that's what we are aiming for. So thank you so much for listening. Again, hopefully there are some things that might trigger some ideas, and I wish we could be a better person, knowing that by doing good, we could actually sustain the business. So thank you so much for the time, and see you guys later. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have heard the story of the Paragon from a small industry, from home industry, until now becomes a very big company, especially in the cosmetic industry. Yeah, unfortunately, the video is not delivering directly by Ibu Hurhayati, but it has been delivered one of the director from the Paragon Corporation. Now we go to the last presenter. The last presenter is Professor Dr. Khaswar Syamsu. This is the director of the Halal Science Center, IPB University. And we're talking about the halal supply chain from the halal science perspective. Now we would like to see, this is the summary of the curriculum vitae from the Professor Khaswar Syamsu. Professor Khaswar Syamsu is a professor in the bioindustry, Department of the Agroindustrial Technology, IPB University, and also director of the Halal Science Center. Professor Khaswar graduated from Queensland University in chemical engineering in 1994. Now he also become a trainer from several trainings, especially in industrial back technology, and also have, this is, I think, the postdoctoral, the postdoctoral education. And now also one of the auditor in the Halal Center. And now we will hear the presentation from Professor Khaswar Syamsu. Mr. Professor Khaswar Syamsu, would you like to present your presentation in not more than 20 minutes? So the time and also the screens is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Titi, Candra, Sunarti. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning for the everyone, dear ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to thank you First, I would like to thank the committee for giving me the opportunity to share the idea about the halal supply chain from halal science perspective. Before we go for the main topic, would you please allow me to introduce some terminology? First is halal. What's the meaning of the halal? So halal means permissible or lawful according to the Islamic Sharia law. And it is related to object or action, which is permissible to use or to engage in according to Islamic Sharia law. And in terms of the consumer goods, foods, cosmetic, medicine, etc., are basically halal, unless there is a prohibition which is mentioned in Al-Quran or in Hadith. On the contrary, haram means something which is prohibited or unlawful according to the Islamic Sharia law. Then also toyib. So toyib means safe to be consumed. So if we talk about the food safety, actually food safety is toyib. And also toyib means the clean. So if you talk about the GMP, GMP, good manufacturing practice, actually GMP is a toyib. And then toyib also means healthy, hygienic, wholesome, high quality. So I mean that if you talk about the quality, so quality is part of the toyib. So in the Islamic teaching, the order of the halal is always combined with toyib. So halalan toyiban. In terms of the certification, if it is halal, but not toyib, it cannot be halal certified. The same thing if it is toyib, but not halal, also it cannot be halal certified. Okay, so actually the consuming halal, yeah, it is a common in the Islamic teaching, as it is mentioned in Al-Baqarah 168. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya ayyuhan nasu kulu mimma fil ardi halalan thayyiban wa la tatabi'u khuwatish syaitan innahu lakum adu mubin. The meaning being, O ye people, eat what is on earth, halalan and thayyib. Halal, which is lawful, and also thayyib, which is good. And do not follow the footsteps of the evil one, for he is to you an avowed enemy. So for Muslim people, consuming halal product is a compulsory and part of the worship to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, part of the religion. In addition, from the perspective of human right, so consuming halal food is so right for the Muslim people around the globe. So therefore, it is a potential and prospective market for halal certified products globally. So we can see from the data from the survey research report in 2020, the amount of the Muslim people in the world is more than 24% of world population, meaning that it is more than 1.9 billion people. In terms of the economic and business, this large amount of the Muslim people around the world is a huge market for their product. And we can see here, in 2019, according to the Global State Islamic Economic Report in 2020 and 21, the Muslims spent more than $2 trillion in 2019 across food, medicine, cosmetics, fashion, travel, and recreation sectors. And it is expected to reach a more than $2.3 trillion by 2024. Then this figure is expected to continue to increase in line with the growth of the global Muslim population. The second one is the awareness of the quality of halal products. As I mentioned before, halalan thayyiban. So halal and thayyib, yeah, it is more than just quality. Okay, it is not surprising that the halal certified product also the prospective for the non-Muslim people as well, because halal is a good quality indicator. So halal and thayyiban, not only it is halal or lawful for the Muslim people, but it's also thayyib, meaning that it is good in physical, chemical, and biological aspect. Therefore, halal and thayyib is more than just quality. Then it is also suitable for non-Muslim. That's why the demand for the halal product in the world also increasing rapidly. Yeah, because non-Muslim also consider that the halal certified product is high quality. Unlike the other quality system, haram is zero tolerance. So mean that if you talk about the halal, halal does not recognize the threshold. Yeah, for example, for the food safety, it is still allowed to have the hazardous materials or microbes contamination as long as it is below the threshold number. But for the halal one, the halal do not recognize the threshold. So haram material, it is not allowed even at any level. So we call it haram is zero tolerance. So the choice is only halal or haram. And if there is a shubhat or unclear status or vaguely, it has to be clarified through halal certification. What is a shubhat? So it is narrated by the hadith by Bukhari and Muslim. The hadith said that something that is halal or lawful is clear. So actually, it does not need halal certificate as well. And the haram one is also clear. But between them, there is a shubhat case. Most people do not know it. So most people don't know about the shubhat things. And whoever falls on the shubhat means that he has fallen in the haram one. Okay, so the development of science and technology in the processing of food, cosmetic, and medicine, then there are many possibilities that the materials coming from the haram materials. So the products of food, pharmaceutical, and cosmetic industries are shubhat actually, because the status is unclear. Because there is a process there is a material, there's some additive and processing aids. So haram materials might be coming from raw materials, additives, or processing aids, or from facilities which are contaminated by the haram and najis materials. So what are the haram and najis materials in Islam? Okay. Haram materials, it is written in Al-Baqarah, verse 173. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Innama harama alaikumul maitata. Yeah. He had only forbidden you dead meat, yeah, or carrion, yeah. What dama, blood, walakhmal khinzir, and the flesh of swine, wama uhila bihi li ghairillah, and that on which any other name had been invoked beside the name of the Allah. Yeah. So famani turra ghaira bagin wala adin fala isma alayh. But if one is forced by necessity, without willful disobedience, nor transgressing due limits, then he is guiltless. In Allah, Ghafurun Rahim, for Allah is of forgiving, most merciful. So from here we know that the material which are haram, not many compared to the halal one, is only carrion or dead animal without slaughtering, blood, pork, and animal which is slaughtered by not mentioning the name of Allah, or the animal which is slaughtered not according to the Islamic way. And in addition, in another verses of Al-Maidah, khamar or alcoholic beverages or intoxicating drinks, it is also haram materials. And in the hadith, which is narrated by the book of hadith, so wild animal or carnivore, animal that are forbidden to be killed, and animal that are ordered to be killed, and the disgusting animals are also haram to be consumed. Exception for the all animals from the sea are halal, although it is not slaughtered. So another one is about the najis or najasa. This najis means something dirty, yeah, something filth that causes unlawful worship. The object that is exposed to najis material is also mutanajis, and every najis and mutanajis material is haram to be consumed. Mutanajis material can be purified by removing the najis according to the Islamic purification requirement. So we can see that from those materials for the haram materials, there are possible sources of the haram industry. Yeah, from the various verses and hadiths. There are not many haram actually compared to the halal one. But with the advance of science and technology, there are many additives and processing aids industry which are possibly coming from pig and pig derivatives, or from halal animal which is not slaughtered according to the Islamic way. And both are also haram for Muslim people. We give you some example here. There are many derivatives from pig. Meat, of course, it is haram. But the fat, or we call it lard, it is the biggest byproduct for the porcine industry. And in Europe, yeah, in the non-Muslim country, the lard is used for the shortening which is used for the bread making or bakery biscuit. And then the lard also is used for the fat derivative, yeah, is the for mono and diglyceride. This is emulsifier. Then emulsifier is for the ice cream, for the margarine, for the creamer, for non-dairy creamer, for any food product which involves fat and or fat, oil, and water. And then from the fat derivative, from the shortening, the people can get the glycerin, which is used for the toothpaste and the cream. Yeah. And then from the skin on the bone, yeah, people can get the collagen, and collagen is for the cosmetics. And then gelatin. Then gelatin is used for the capsule shell, for the ice cream, yeah, for the jelly, and for the yogurt as the thickener, and also for the marshmallow. Yeah. And then for the inner part of the pig, people can get the enzyme. We know that the trypsin, which is used for the some vaccine, and also for the MSG production, and also pepsin. Pepsin, yeah, is used for the rennet, because rennet is used for the cheese manufacturing, and actually rennet coming from the trypsin and pepsin. You know that the trypsin coming from the pancreas of the pig, and the pepsin coming from the digestive part of the pig. And then also from the pancreas, people can get the insulin hormone. This is the medicine for the diabetes. And also the intestine used for the sausaging, for the sausage cussing. Yeah? And from the blood, yeah, people can give the color for the sausage and also for the medicine. And of course, the blood, because it is the good source for the nutrition, is used for the fermentation media to produce the microbial products. So then any micro products there, of course, becoming subhat. And even the bone of the pig is used for activity carbon. And then activity carbon is used for the decolorizing agent or purification agent, for refined oil, for water, for sugar, and so on. And then from the hair of the pig, the people can get the cysteine. Cysteine is the amino acid which is used as bread in Prof, and it is also used for the flavor. And then from the hair, people can get also the brush, and the toothbrush, and so on. So we can see that there are many possibilities, the materials, the additive, the processing aids which are used in the industry coming from the pig. Yeah. And this is the real example, yeah, detailed example, the collagen, gelatin, chondroitin, which are used by many food, pharmaceutical, and cosmetic industries. And we know that the collagen and gelatin are obtained from the hide or skin or bone of animal, which are collected from many slaughterhouses. This is the example of the animal hide or skin as sort of the collagen and gelatin. And this is the animal bones. It is also sort of the collagen and gelatin. This is where the gelatin come from. And then the gelatin is used for the soft candy. And also, of course, for the most used probably for the capsule shell. This is animal bones, also sort of collagen and gelatin, which are coming from many slaughterhouses. And chondroitin is obtained from the trachea of animal. Again, it is collected from many slaughterhouses. So the hide or the skin or bones might be coming from the pig, or might be mixed with the hide or skin of bone of pig, or from animals which are slaughtered not according to the Islamic way. Even it is cow or halal animal, when it is slaughtered not according to Islamic way, it is also haram for the Muslim people. This is a trachea animal which is sort of chondroitin, and chondroitin is used for a food additive in some milk powder. And we can see in the global market for the gelatin. So most of the gelatin which is marketed in the world is coming from the pig skin. It is more than 44%. And the rest is from the beef hide or beef skin, and also from the bone of the pig or the bone of the cow. So totally come to the around 98% or 99%. There is also the gelatin coming from the fish skin, but it is not significant. Yeah? In terms of the commercial and in terms of the economy, it is not significant. So then, because the large demand of the gelatin, so there is a high risk of halal gelatin adulteration by the haram one. So this is a possible cause of the haram industry. So materials, additive, or processing aids which might be coming from haram and najis material. Or the halal materials might be mixed intentionally, for economic purpose. We call it this adulteration, or it is unintentionally or accident contamination during collecting, during processing, during storage, or during transportation. It is contaminated by the haram or najis materials. So halal materials might be cross-contaminated by haram and najis materials through sharing facilities or during storage and transportation. And how can we prevent it? So for the four materials or contamination coming from pig or its derivative, we still may use laboratory analysis for authentication using by PCR or FTRR, etc., before it is used for the industry. But the problems might arise when it is coming from the animal which is not slaughtered according to the Islamic way, or if it is the dead animal without slaughtering. So far, there have been no lab analysis to detect materials coming from carrion or dead animal without slaughtering, or animals which are slaughtered not according to Islamic way. And it is also haram according to the Islamic belief. Then it absolutely needs the traceability of the materials from the halal supply chain. So then we have to implement halal supply chain management. So then the halal supply chain have to make sure that the finished product is halal, starting from the farm.
You still have 3 minutes to finish your presentation.
Okay, and then processing, raw material, distribution, and packaging until to the finished product, which are ready to consume. Okay, so halal supply management to make sure the halal of the finished product, each and every link of chain connection from slaughterhouse to table should apply halal assurance system. What is halal assurance system? It is an integrated management system which is established, implemented, and maintained by the company to manage materials, production process, product, human resources, and procedure in order to maintain the certainty of halal production process. And as the main prerequisite, the halal system should be started from the commitment of the company. We call it halal policy. And then the halal should be also supported by the human resources. This is halal supervisor or halal management team who are responsible to plan, implement, evaluate, and continuously improve the halal assurance system. Then halal supervisor should be competent person who have passed the competency test indicated by the quality certificate from approved institution. Competency can be obtained through halal assurance training. And as main requirement, the halal product should be made from halal materials, raw materials, and additives, and use halal processing aids. Halal of the materials should be proved by valid halal supporting document, and also the facilities of materials which are used also have to be free from contamination by the haram and najis material. And then to guarantee the halalness of every step, then every critical activities which affect the halalness of the product have to be equipped by the procedure, the halal procedure. And in addition, there should be also procedure for traceability and handling product which are either intentionally or unintentionally made from or contaminated by the haram or najis materials. And then as integrated system, there should be also the procedure for internal audits and management review to periodically evaluate and continuously improve the effectiveness of the halal assurance implementation. So in summary, we start for the prerequisite. This is halal policy, human resources and training, and then the main requirement for the halal product. This is all materials should be halal, and also the halal material should be supported by the document, halal supporting document, and to guarantee the halalness in every step of the production. So the every step, every critical activity should be supported by the procedure, and also in addition, they have to have the traceability system, handling of non-conforming products and products. And finally, as integrated system, the effectiveness of the system should be evaluated periodically through the internal audit and manual review. Okay, thank you. Hope that this is useful and beneficial for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Khaswar. Talking about the halal supply chain from the halal from the science perspective. Yeah. So we go to the discussion session. We have several questions from the chat room. Yes. Would you like to present the question? Yes. This is from Professor Suprihatin to the Mr. Sugianto Tandio. And would you like to answer one by one, or we collect some question from another?
We can do one by one.
Okay.
Professor.
Yeah, would you like it?
So Professor Suprihatin, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Saya langsung,
Yes.
can I just answer now? Okay. Thank you, Professor Suprihatin. Good question, yeah. So, incinerator, I know that it's very common, yeah, for in the villages that people, even in the city, actually, that people burn waste, yeah. Actually, that's not allowed, yeah, by law. That's not allowed. What I mean by incinerator, like Singapore. Singapore is an incinerator country, and if I'm not mistaken, they have 4 incinerator, big size, yeah, and there's no complaint of smoke and contamination, air contamination. There's no such thing. So what I mean by incinerator as a commercial setting is why each incinerator setup is like few $100 million. It's a big investment. And majority of the costs actually go to how to make sure that after burn, all the contamination are neutralized, are captured before released to the air. Okay, that's what makes incinerator very expensive. I don't remember the figures, but for example, like Jakarta, yeah, Jakarta, we are landfill. You know, our waste go to Bandar Gebang. Yeah, and the cost of the government to send 1 ton of waste for Jakarta resident to Bandar Gebang landfill, compared to 1 ton of waste Singaporeans sent to the incinerator, is like it costs incinerator 5 times more expensive. Okay, so the cost of incinerator is very expensive. The capex is expensive. The running cost is also expensive. Okay, now that is why I mentioned just now, even US, very rich country by income, but they have 3,000 landfill. Yeah. So economically, if you have land space, then you do landfill. Yeah. So incinerator is very expensive. So what I mean by incinerator is not just burning as it is. Yeah. If you're just burning the waste, our sampah, yeah, the waste, then you're right. You know, the smoke are very it's not good for health. Yeah. And it's illegal actually. Okay. Okay. Then your second question is.
What is this one?
Yeah,
we have another
no,
question, Pak Sugianto.
Yeah,
yeah. Please, the second question.
Sorry, before that, can you come back? Can you go back?
Before.
Kan ada 2 pertanyaan.
Ada 2 pertanyaan, ya.
Okay, yes.
Sorry, yeah. So how far can plastic be replaced with bioplastic? Why cannot be fast? Yeah, I mentioned just now, Professor, that the biggest issue is cost. Okay. Again, yeah, cost we cannot get around it, because to produce regular plastic, the feedstock is a residue of oil production, so it's very cheap. Anything from corn, from tapioca is of course expensive, because you need to buy from the farmers. So cost is number 1 bottleneck. Beside from that, yeah, regular plastic is already 50 years in the world. Invented 100 years ago, commercializing 50 years. So today there's 1,000 different kind of regular plastic with different property, yeah, different property to protect food, yeah, to protect food, because you need oxygen barrier, you need moisture barrier, and all that. Bioplastic is only in the range of 100 types, yeah. So it's not ready. Research is very tedious. It takes a long time, yeah, but I'm sure that the bioplastic doesn't take 50 years to achieve that. Maybe another 10 years, you know, at most 20 years, maybe less than that. Yeah. So that's the answer I hope. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you. We go to the next question from the Mr. Ayud Asadam, and also from Ibu Justinus. Yes, this is the scientific strategy to create biodegradable plastic.
Yeah, scientific strategy, you can, just for short, okay. So in the world, for the biodegradable plastic, there's only 3 types. Yeah, I mentioned just now the compostable, the bio-based, and the oxo biodegradable. Okay, and I think the compostable as well as the bio-based is easy to explain because generally any kind of it's only 2 types of bioplastic. Yeah, whether you are starch-based or cellulose-based. Yeah. So the technology is how to make it permanent, how to make it stable, yeah, that you can protect food and all that. Yeah, I can go deep into it now. But then the oxo biodegradable is just an additive add on to regular plastic. Yeah, I mentioned just now regular plastic is organic actually. Yeah, but the problem is, the regular plastic, the molecule of regular plastic is hydrocarbon, right? We eat rice, we eat tapioca, it's also hydrocarbon. So it's the same hydrocarbon, that's why plastic is organic. The difference is for the food, the hydrocarbon chain is less than 1,000. So if you throw away, the microbe can eat it. Regular plastic is hydrocarbon, but the hydrocarbon chain of regular plastic is 7 million. Okay, that's why I call it polymer for regular plastic, right? Polymerization is to make the hydrocarbon chain super long so they can get plastic property, can be thin, can be strong, barrier property, which is good, yeah. But because it's so good that if you throw away, the microbe cannot eat it. It's too hard because the chain is too long. So the job of an oxo biodegradable additive is to break down the molecular chain in such a way that within 2 years, 1 year to 5 years, it can be eaten by microbe rather than 500 years or 1,000 years. Okay, so that's how it works on the oxo biodegradable. Yeah.
From Ibu Dwi Stianingsih.
Okay.
Talking about the raw material from the vegetable oil, is it possible?
Yes, it's possible, Bu Dwi. However, we do not want to compete with food. Okay, so that's very important. Why we choose tapioca? We can choose any kind of starch-producing plant, sagu, corn, Now, but if you look at all the nutritious value, the nasi, the rice, the wheat, the potato, the corn are high nutritious value. Tapioca actually is very low nutritious value. It's just full of carbo. Okay, it's not healthy. That is why if you eat, that's why tapioca is not a main staple. Yeah, rice, potato are main, corn are main staple. Yeah, so tapioca is always generally used for dessert. Okay, now if people eat tapioca as a main staple, it's not healthy actually. Yeah, so that's one why we choose tapioca. And second is tapioca is very resilient crop. Even a marginal land, you cannot plant anything, you can plant tapioca. Okay. And then third is, of course, I mentioned just now, tapioca is known as the poor farmer crops because you do not need the seed to plant tapioca. You just take the trunk after you harvest it, you take the trunk, you chop it, and you plant it, it grows. Yeah. That's why it's known as a poor farmer crop. Yeah. We try to eliminate poverty using that. So we from this you mentioned about palm oil. Now you know that the palm oil tree, okay, the trunk has a lot of starch as well. Yeah. So if already the life of the palm tree is already end puluhan tahun, yeah, then we can actually harvest that actually. Yeah. But anyway, we try to what we try to do is the palm oil waste. We try to make use of it to make bioplastic. Yeah, we do have a research in that area right now. Yeah, so instead of competing with producing the palm oil, we tend to utilizing the waste to produce the plastic. Yeah, that's where we are going. Thank you.
Now we go to the next question. Is it any more question to Mr. Sugianto? This is about the prospect of using bioplastic in the future.
The plastic.
Yes. For the audience, yes. Would you like to?
Yeah, this is Bu Afifa, yeah. This is certainty. Yeah, I mentioned just now. Many countries now move beyond post-oil economy. Okay. Now, if energy doesn't depend on oil anymore, then the bioplastic will be price competitive. Okay. So the question is, for sure in the future, the plastic will be produced from from plant-based for sure. Okay, the question is when. Okay, and then today actually we already have EcoPlus and we have Natural Look. Yeah, those are from tapioca, and it's just very stable. Be able to replace in certain application like tissue packaging, you know, shopping bag, garbage bag, and many other applications. Yeah, we can use that already. Very stable. You can, with all the functionality, you can do that. And then yet it coming from tapioca. It's possible.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sugianto. Now we go to the next question. All the audience would like to apologize because we extend around 5 minutes to give the chance to Professor Khaswar to answer the question. We have 2 questions to Professor Khaswar. Maybe this is from Ahib, yeah, Mr. Ahib, and also from Ibu Reni. Yeah.
Okay, let me read the question first.
Yes. This is a certified of the yeah.
Yes.
For
First
both
from the
question, yeah.
Yes. Okay. First from the Mr. Ahib As-Sadam. So if the animal is slaughtered according to the animal meat is halal or haram, if the animal slaughtered by non-Muslim, but slaughtered in the name of Allah, it is not accepted by the Fatwa Committee of Ulama. So the slaughterhouse, the slaughterman must be Muslim and they recite the name of Allah. Because how can the non-Muslim recite the name of Allah according to the Muslim way? And slaughter process is not only by reciting basmalah, but it is also there are many steps, yeah, in slaughtering that has to follow the Islamic way. I think it is take time to let you know, to explain the way to slaughter animal according to the Islamic way. Okay, the second question from Ms. Reni Utami. So actually halal certificate cover not materials, so yeah, in materials and product. Yeah, what we call is product is including the food, beverage, pharmaceutical, consumer goods, and also services like the transportation, warehouse, and so on. But for the warehouse, the transportation, it is not a halal product certificate, but it is the halal assurance system implementation certificate, because anything related with the halal product like transportation or warehouse and so on, it is also should be implement the halal assurance system. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Professor Khaswar. We have one question to the Paragon Corporation, but it has been answered directly in the chat room. Thank you very much to the Miss Lely for the question, and also to Ibu Dwi Suci for answering the question. So I think almost all the question has finished.
There's one question from Professor Iwan. Can I ask that?
Okay, this is the last question. Sorry for the last question from Ibu Kartika. Yeah,
sorry, Bu Titi. Yeah, before answer, I have the question for Bapak Sugianto. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is
Maybe,
important question, so I have to answer it.
Would you like Professor
Okay, let me read the question. Thank you, Professor Iwan. So it says, when you say biodegradable plastic, is it 100% fully biodegradable, or is it partially degradable? Some people say that current bioplastic is only degraded into microplastic, which means it is not fully degradable. Thank you for the question, Professor Iwan. So there's many misunderstood. Okay, so all the plastic undergo fragmentation. Fragmentation is a big piece of plastic becoming smaller pieces. Anything less than 2 millimeters is microplastic. Okay, all plastic. So fragmentation is just breakdown physically. Degradation or biodegradation is a breakdown of the molecular structure, as I explained it. It's a two different things. Okay. So for example, I had 3 technology. If it is plant-based, then it's easy to digest, easy to explain. but the oxo biodegradable additive they add on to regular plastic, So the additive job is to break so any plastic without the oxo additive, we just undergo fragmentation for 500 years to 1,000 years and turn into microplastic. Now the plastic with the additive undergo two processes, fragmentation as well as degradation at the same time. Okay, so naturally anything with the oxo additive built in, it will speed up the fragmentation. It will be becoming microplastic a lot faster, but then the speeding up will also speed up the biodegradation. So within 2 years to 5 years, it is eaten by micro. Okay, instead of in the natural for 500 years or 1,000 years. Okay, now, but then Professor, 100% fully biodegradable is a term that we need to be careful to use, because, for example, many researchers dig down in the landfill, at the depth of roughly about 50 years ago, they can still discover paper, and then we have the mummified remains of the dinosaurs and all that, So 100% fully biodegradable, is not such thing in the natural setting, because certain conditions will not allow degradation. Okay, so it's in the landfill, but the technology that we have, with all the American standard, it is tested in the lab, fully degradable in the lab, because lab is a controlled environment. Yeah. Now, although we try to do right now, we do try to do testing in the landfill in the natural setting, to make sure that at least it is 80%, 90%. But then how long, right? So anything that less than 2 years to 5 years is like that. Less than 500 years is much better. Yeah. But I can say that 100% is impossible, including paper. Yeah. You still can have remain of paper or wood. Yeah. Bury for millions of years still intact. Yeah. So yeah. But then if we can degrade like 90% above, it's very good already.
Okay,
thank you, Professor, for the question.
Yeah. I think it's not only degrade physically, but also the degree of the polymerization also decrease. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I hope this is the last question from Ibu Kartika to Professor Khaswar, because we have extended 6 minutes.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Pak Sugianto, for the answer. Now my turn to answer the question from Ms. Kartika. So if the material, industrial product that use part of big body, fixed body as a mediator, just say the enzyme, for example, it is according to the fatwa committee of MUI, it is also haram and it cannot be halal certified. For example, you might know that the vaccine, some vaccine which is decided haram by the MUI because they use the trypsin in the process of making the vaccine. So according to the fatwa, any porcine materials involved in the process, even though it is not detected in the final product and the finished product, then it is still haram and it cannot be halal certified. But for the emergency, for example, for the vaccine, the need for the vaccine is more than the availability of the halal vaccine. So then the fatwa committee said that even though it is haram, but it can be used for the vaccination because of the emergency. Okay, thanks, Bu Titi.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very intensive, it's very interesting discussion for this from the morning. So we will finish our session. And from the committee, would you like to give we will give the appreciation to all the presenters. Would you like to present? No? Okay, I'm sick. Now we will finish for the session. Thank you very much, Professor Khaswar, Syamsu, also Mr. Sugianto, and from the Paragon, and also from Pak Adhi, Lukman. And I will return to the Master of the Ceremony, Ms. Husna. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Dr. Titi Chandra Sunarti. And on behalf of the Committee of the International Conference on Innovation, Technology and Management for Sustainable Agroindustry, or ITaMSA 2021, may I present a token of appreciation for the Honorable Moderator and Presenter today's session. Here is the token of appreciation for Professor Dr. Insinyur Titi Chandra Sunarti from IPB University as the moderator today. And then we have a token of appreciation for Insinyur Adhi Lukman, the chairperson of the Indonesian Food and Beverage Association. And then for Sugianto Tandio MSc, the co-founder and chairman of PT Harapan Interaksi Swadaya Greenhope. And then for the honorable Dr. Honoris Causa, Hurhayati Subakat, CEO of PT Paragon Technology and Innovation. And then for Professor Dr. Insinyur Iwan Khaswar Syamsu MSc, the head of Halal Science Center from IPB University. Thank you very much for the moderator and the invited speakers for today. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we will have a photo session. We invite all the audience to turn on the camera if you are able to. And here we have several pages on our screen. Okay, I will wait for several times to let you turn on the camera. Okay, we have 6 pages here. I will count to 3 and please be prepared. 1, 2, 3. Okay, for the next page. 1, 2, 3. Okay, for the third page, 1, 2, 3. For the fourth page, 1, 2, 3. For the fifth page, 1, 2, 3, and the last page, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much. And this is the end of the 2 days of International Conference on Innovation, Technology, and Management for Sustainable Agroindustry, or ITaMSA 2021. And as a closing remark, may we have the pleasure on inviting Dr. Justinus Satrio, representing Villanova University. To Dr. Justinus Satrio, time is yours. I'm sorry, your microphone is still muted.
Yes, all right. Hello, everyone. Good morning from the United States. It is well past midnight here, and then so it's been a very long day. I was half asleep actually, so I'm trying to stay awake. But then I have followed the conference in the past 2 days, yesterday and then today. And today, I really enjoy listening to the presentation from the private sectors, from all the that is the role of agriculture, and then also the role of the regulation in terms of the halal, and then that is very insightful for me personally. So I have the pleasure and the honor to close to say the closing remarks for this, but then allow me to do a little bit of recap of what we have done in the past 2 days. So if I can share my, I will share a bit of presentation. Okay, so that is the highlights of the first. Professor Dr. Suprihatin, after chair of the organization. Very a very nice welcoming remark from Professor Dr. Arif Satria, that is the role of IPB University in the agro industry for Indonesia has been wonderful, very, very important. And this conference is kind of one of the realization of what IPB has been doing in the agro industry in Indonesia. And we have this keynote speaker, that is the Dr. Sandiaga Uno, the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy. And the key message from him is that from the perspective of developing and improving tourism in Indonesia, sustainable, because of he is from the Ministry of Tourism, so he put emphasis on the impact of the agro-tourism in agro-industry in tourism, and he mentioned that the sustainable agro-industry play a very important role. That the success in Indonesian tourism, the success of Indonesian in the tourism is no longer based on the quantity, but also be based on the quality. Okay, and then agro-industry, he gave an example about in Bali, that is the tourism capital for Indonesia, for the world. That is especially during this pandemic era, that this agro-industry becoming a key sector for Bali, for the Balinese in recovering from the impact of COVID pandemics, that they have developed agro-tourism, and also this agro-industry has become the main driver for the Balinese to survive, basically. And he mentioned also that for advancing agro-industry in Indonesia and also in supporting this agro-tourism, that the new technologies and approaches need to be developed in Indonesia. So he really supportive of this what the goal of this conference. So yesterday on the plenary sessions, the first session has been focused on the providing the fundamentals of this conference, that is about this SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and Professor Dr. Anas Fauzi, he presented about what are the policies and then the implementation of SDGs in IPB. So there's a lot of activities, and then IPB really put a lot of effort on then the activities, the program, and then also in the website about sustainability on the SDGs. And basically, there's about the developing a green campus. So there's 7 criteria from the regulation in water resources and to waste management, transportation, biodiversity, infrastructures. And IPB is moving forward, and along with other academias, other universities around the world, that just to make this university campus as a green campus. And for myself, I talk about the importance of the steep perspectives on the sustainable agriculture and water, energy, food nexus. So agriculture cannot be separated from as a component of water, energy, food nexus. That is the main driver, actually the main, the vital requirement for sustainable development. And in evaluating the success, the status of sustainable agriculture and water, energy, food nexus for sustainable development, we have to evaluate that not only from just one perspective, but also from various perspectives, from the social, technology, economy, environment, and policies. Professor Randy Stringer from the University of Adelaide, he presented about the designing agro-industry policies to promote inclusive smallholder value chains. So in the principle is that he put emphasis on the importance of how this smallholder to be included in the to be included as an active participant on the sustainable development. So it's evolved from the start, from the production, yield productivities, and also to address the broader goals associated with sustainable development. That is in smallholders, they are mostly in the rural communities. So we need to have a program or support for the smallholders in order to reduce rural and urban poverty, and then improving the enhanced nutrition, health, quality, basically all these SDGs goals, landscape benefits, and environmental services. And the policies and programs to facilitate this VC innovation need to be based on what is the state of the technology today. Is farmers today also they are very familiar with communication. They call it Google Farmers. So that is the technology can be used to facilitate the land rental markets, for example. They use the technology to support, to increase for the benefits of these farmers. Then we have three interesting presentation on the applications of the research and development in the agro-industry. The first one is on by the Dr. Guillermo Begoria from the Director of Research and Development of Nexation Systems from United States. He presented about his company's technology on the utilizing integrated proximal sensing and artificial intelligence system in agriculture. Also, we have the presentation from Professor Vincent Rodin from University of Brest in France. He mentioned he's a computer scientist, and he presented about this computation method to utilize cellular automata for multi-agents engine to evaluate or to simulate environmental and agro ecosystem, to simulate agro industry or an ecosystem. Very interesting presentation. And then finally, on to close the day, Professor Yuki Saito from the University of Tokyo. She presented her works in the recent trends in research and development on bio-based materials. In her presentation, she presented about the role of this self-scroll ketosane film. So it's from natural material, and then how to apply that into micropackaging and microreactor system. Today, of course, then we just heard about this the plenary sessions on the roles of private sectors and industry, and we have this very interesting presentation from Insinyur Adhi Lukman as the chairperson of the Indonesian Food and Beverage Association. That is about the roles of this the Indonesian Food and Beverage Association, this industry, on the SDGs. Basically, the food and beverage industry will keep increasing because of the increase of the Indonesian GDP per capita. So there's a household consumption growth, increase of processed food. So there is an important role that this industry play quite a bit. And in agro and food industry, there is he puts emphasis on the value chains from the raw materials, and then there's also to the products, including that will include this the needs for policies and regulations, the need for innovation and technology, the need for increasing the human capital, competent, skilled, reliable, and also about this improving the infrastructure and logistics. So there's a lot of homework for the government, for the Indonesian people as a whole, that is to improve all this, the value chains, especially to improve the competitiveness of Indonesia in the global market. And we have the Mr. Sugianto Tandio, that is working on his innovation from his company Greenhope about sustainable product innovation in plastic packaging. So he talks about this his companies and on the various products that are proprietary bioresins, and then the company is a social enterprise with mission of addressing plastic consumption and waste pollution. And it's very, very interesting. And that is also the Greenhope technologies link up developed countries, and then with also consumption to the positive social impact in developing and underdeveloping countries. That is, for example, that how to utilize this natural tapioca plants to be used as the material for bioplastic. That is also improving the economic status for the farmers by supplying all these materials. There's a lot of talk on the bioplastics, and the Paragon Technologies and Paragon Innovation is a very impressive company that is really based on the cosmetic industry and has really support this SDGs, that is to developing a technology, the companies, a corporation that is employ a lot of people all over Indonesia, and developing largest cosmetic R&D center, and then have the plant area that is really big. And basically that is Paragon technology in my mind is that an example how this Indonesian based industry can compete in the world. And it mentioned that is the 7th global fastest growing brand in the world. Finally, we have this very insightful talk from Professor Khaswar Syamsu on the halal supply chain from the halal science perspectives. And it has been for me, this is a very insightful personally. Thank you for that. And then, but then the main input from this conference, of course, then all these papers, all the participants who submitted papers and gave the presentations yesterday, and there are 7 parallel sessions, 79 papers. That is the focus on the 2 sessions on innovative sustainable agro-industry products. And then there are about this session on green technology, that is including bioprocess technology, packaging, and storage. And then there are 3 parallel sessions on the innovative and sustainable agro-industry business models. And finally, there is information and communication technology application in sustainable agro-industry. So the goal of this conference is to provide a platform for academia, for private sectors, for the regulators and facilitator to meet together, and then to talk about, to exchange idea, to share information about what they have done related to agro-industry in the form of the concepts, the result of the research. And then basically it has been a very insightful. And what is the benefits of this conference? What I see is that to be coming the knowledge, idea, and transformative concept to close the gap in the development of agro-industry that is sustainable. And we hope that from this conference, that there will be more collaborations among all these people who meet here, and to continue developing this agro industry that is sustainable. So I would like to close this. Basically, I really want to share this about, at the end, the goal of our effort in agro industry, and as part of this water, energy, food nexus, is the sustainable and prosperous world based on equity, fairness, and justice, not only in Indonesia, but also around the world. And in Indonesia, they have to be not only in Java Islands or in Sumatra Island, but for the entire Indonesia, from the west to the east. So it has to be based on the social, economic, and environment. And the goal of utilizing these 17 goals that is developed, that is the guidelines provided by the United Nations, if we need to use that as a blueprint to reach the goals. And we need to also to remember to always not to see our effort based on only from one, based on our expertise. For example, for myself from the technology, but also we need to be aware and then work together with people from the social aspect, from economic, and then from environmental and political aspects on that. So that has been the topic of the conference, and I really would like to say thank you to the organizing committees and to all the people who have been working behind the stage in making sure that this conference runs smoothly. And thank you also for all the participants, and also thank you to the audience, the participants of this conference who have been supporting this conference to be successful. So with that, I would like to say thank you, and I will return the platform to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Justinus Satrio, representing Villanova University, for delivering the closing remark. And as the closing remark has delivered, we are going to announce the winner of Best Student Paper Award. Okay, so the winner of Student Best Paper Award are Reni U. Somantri, Khaswar Syam. Oh, okay. Is awarded to Siti Wardah, Marimin Mohyani, and Taufik Jatna for the paper titled Spatial-Based Multi-Criteria Decision-Making Model for Coconut Sugar Agroindustry Location Selection, a case study at Indragiri Hilir District, Riau Province, Indonesia. And for the second one, the best student paper is awarded to Reni U. Somantri, Khaswar Syamsu, Sugianto, Evi S. Iriani, and Titi Candra Sunarti for the paper titled Antimicrobial Activities for Several Essential Oils on Oral Cavity Microflora in Vitro. Massive congratulations for all of the winners. And here's the end of the ITaMSA 2021, the International Conference on Innovation Technology and Management for Sustainable Agro-Industry. This conference is organized by Department of Agro-Industrial Technology, IPB University, with Indonesian Association of Agro-Industry, in collaboration with Villanova University, United States, and the University of Tokyo, Japan. On behalf of the committee, we really appreciate your participation, and see you again in the next 2 years in ITaMSA 2023. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Pak Justinus. Thank you all of the participants. See you in 2023.
See you in 2023.
Yes, 2 years from now. Bye-bye.